message to his people. You have no one to blame but yourselves.
People in this town have become very angry, and their hearts have been full of hate. Many people in this town think they know who to blame. But I want to ask you people here today, I want to put it to you. Has anybody thought about the people, these people, us people here, who gave this fellow his first drink? The people who took him down the pub. We can't do much about that, he's gone now. The grog got him. Dear Lord, we ask that you'll be with us today to comfort us and to give us your word. Amen. I'd just like to, as a brother to share language, if there's anybody here who'd like to come forward and say a word, just come forward now.
Roban Aboriginals. They say it was only a matter of time, and behind their grief was the confidence that something would be done. His death was so public. When the inquest opened, all declined to give evidence on the ground that it might incriminate them. But even so, the coroner heard evidence of police methods in the West. One dragged an Aboriginal to the van by the hair. A sergeant drinking off duty watched and approved. He told the inquest that Aboriginals, when stirred up and looking for a fight, tend to get very greasy and slippery.
That has been described to me as a regular, accurate circumstances.
Are your members racist thugs?
No.
Could people from the outside be forgiven for thinking they are when they read these reports from Western Australia?
Well, I can't really assess how people outside West Australia view the situation. I believe it was quite sensationalised by the media. The people should realise that quite often it is the local policeman who is the Aboriginal's best friend.
Was there ever any evidence that the boy who died was hit by anyone other than police?
No, certainly no evidence of that at all. 7, 8, 9 actual injuries to the head were found at post-mortem. So given that one punched to knock him down and one to hit him on the back of the head, there was an awful lot else done to him.
And what would those other injuries have done to a person?
According to the medical evidence, again, they were not the primary cause of death, but given a brain which has a massive hemorrhage, and in fact is leaking blood into the brain cavity, every additional impact would be like sort of kicking a sponge. It would force more blood out and therefore accelerate death.
When 5 police were committed for trial on charges of manslaughter, police responded with this mass meeting in Perth. It demanded an official inquiry into the coroner's decision.
Police officers do their job whether the person is black, white or brindle, and they really don't give a damn about the colour. It's the person and the manner in which he behaved.
And it called for the abolition of the Aboriginal Legal Service.
It seems grossly improper to us that there ought to be 2 legal systems. We're saying that the Aboriginals are no different from you and I, but perhaps from their colour, and therefore they need not have different legal aid systems.
The 5 at trial denied the manslaughter charge, denied provoking the fight, and denied kicking Aboriginals. Police aide Michael Walker. Pat was not assaulted by the constables. Constable Terry Hull. I did not invite Ashley James to fight or threaten him. I did not use any more force than necessary. Constable Jock Young. At no time did I see any undue force used. Constable Steve Bordis, I did not drag anyone by the hair. No more force was used than necessary. Senior Constable Ian Armott, Pat was lifted into the van. We did not punch or kick Pat. No more force was used than necessary. Punches, they said, were only thrown in self-defence. The white jury acquitted them all. Police said they still had to face an internal inquiry, but 3 weeks later the police commissioner announced no disciplinary action would be taken against the 5.
Do police regulations allow the beating of prisoners in the yards of lockups?
Yeah, but you're asking me when I last stopped beating my wife or something like that. I'm not in a position to comment on that. I simply accept the judgments of the courts at the time.
But there are also police regulations, are there not, which forbid such practices. What action has been taken under police regulations against these officers?
Look, the point is the inquiries were undertaken by the police. The reports to me were that there was no proven circumstances to warrant suspension of the nature you've outlined or of a disciplinary action, and on the basis of that there is no action available for me to take.
There was clear independent evidence of dreadful things going on in that police yard, and nothing was ever done about it apart from that manslaughter trial.
So the Aboriginal Legal Service privately prosecuted 3 of the police for assault. Hole and Bordis again refused to give evidence, but now the magistrate gave them immunities from prosecution. The first case against Constable Young failed. The immunities made prosecution of Hole and Bordis impossible.
How can the law be enforced against police if they're allowed to have immunity from prosecution at inquests and trials?
Well, it might be an unsatisfactory situation, and it may be something we need to address, but that is the present situation, and was the situation at the time that those particular cases were heard.
So police misconduct, which might amount to criminal behaviour, can very well be avoided by simply seeking and being granted immunity at trials.
I wouldn't make a general conclusion like that.
But it is possible.
Well, that's an argument that can be advanced in the context of those particular trials. Whether it has general applicability, I don't know.
Carr tried after Pat to give the Ombudsman full power to investigate the police. The force mobilised against the legislation.
We were able to convince the public, and through the public, the Legislative Council members to block the bill.
How do you convince the public?
Through extensive media campaigning, through personal contact with our members in the field, through local Rotary clubs, various other sporting organisations and groups where they do mix with, through a local political level.
Right now, legislation that could destroy the effectiveness of your police force is before Parliament. The Complaints Against Police Bill will give the Ombudsman far-reaching powers. Police under investigation will be guilty until proven innocent. Young policemen and women will be hesitant to take risks with their careers.
The campaign worked superbly, and the police force survived John Pat's death unchanged.
Write to your local MP today.
For Pat's mother, life is changed.
Sometimes when I get lonely, I think about him again. That's why I go have a bit of drink to forget about him. When I'm at home, make me think what happened to him and why the police are still on the job.
This year, if only to match their past record, the police will see over 2,000 convictions against the Aboriginals of Roban. That's about 3 for every man, woman and child. The quota is daunting, but it's filled across the state. Aboriginals, who make up less than 3% of West Australia's population, fill over a third of its prison cells. In October last year, while Pat's death was still being fought through the courts, Charlie Michael died at Bartons Mill Prison outside Perth. He was distressed. He had no record of violence. Warders say they believe they had a medical problem on their hands when he appeared at the guardhouse.
No, it's okay. Get the superintendent.
We may have a medical escort to do.
Come into the office, Charlie.
But events took a violent turn.
Mr. Lloyd, you know me from old boss.
I'm a bit worried about you, Charlie. Now give us a breath test, and if it's okay, you can go back to your hut.
I know, boss.
What you see now is based on the warder's own evidence given at the inquest. They say they handcuffed him after a violent struggle.
Let me up. Mr. Lloyd. No.